staff who have put together this weekend and have helped to keep the OHHA office running smoothly all year long. Thanks to Kevin, Renee, and the OHHA board who worked hard to keep Ohio the best state to race in. A special thanks for the people who first organized this association. Unfortunately, we have lost several fine OHHA members this past year. Could we please have a moment of silence to honor them? Thank you. And now we ask that you bless this food that has been prepared for us. Amen.
Now, they're going to start serving dinner right around 6:15, so go ahead and partake of your salad and get the timing right. We can go on post time. Just want to remind everybody, this is not Northfield. We go on post time at these banquets. Also like to remind everybody that the door prizes tonight are a bit different. Drop your tickets in the various bags at the particular door prize that you would like to win. One location is outside the room. We will announce the winners at the conclusion of tonight's banquet. So enjoy your salad. Dinner will be served in about 10 or 11 minutes. We will also be giving away a lot of door prizes during the evening tonight. So have your ticket numbers ready, and you must be present to win. Underneath each table, but there are 4 hidden microphones in the room just to have some crowd noise, so watch what you say at your tables. I got to start off by saying that I love coming to Ohio. I guess once you're a Buckeye, you're always a Buckeye. And it's so true with me. And I've been so fortunate over the years to have the opportunity to go to so many places. And it's not easy. My family gets asked me all the time, why don't you slow down? I can't. Took on 3 new racetracks this year to go and make one-day places, and I'm going to Ireland again. But what I really want to talk about is Ireland. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Dublin for the Vincent Delaney Memorial, go. Take that opportunity to go over there for 3 or 4 days and enjoy harness racing. And I guarantee you, when you come back, there is nothing that you will complain about in Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. These people that are involved in racing over there in England and Wales and Scotland and in Ireland love harness racing, maybe more than most of the people around here. You'd find that maybe hard to believe. They'll have a field of 8 going for 350 euros. That's about $500. And only the first 2 finishers get money. 3 through 8, nothing. They love the game. They don't have running water. I remember when we had the strike at the Meadows, and that's going way back to 76. I can see it and hear it. This is today. Nothing against Lebanon, but Lloyd Hawk got up at a meeting at the Meadow Standardbred Owners Association with his phone. He said, we don't even have hot water in the paddock at Lebanon. They don't have hot water anytime. They have to bring their own water to the racetrack to bath their horses. If they live in Scotland or England or Wales, they have to ship their horses across on the ferry. And 4 horses, that's $1,200 one way. And I have so much respect for those people over there. And I go back each and every year, and I'm going back again this year. And the first year, I think there were about 5 of us from the States. Last year, there were over 45. And this year, there'll probably be 60 to 70 from the states that go over there for that race. The 2-year-olds race for, I think it's $58,000, something like that. Be an ideal race for Roger Hammer, because on Saturday, they have the eliminations, and they come back and race the final on Sunday. None of this, you can't race but once a week. They race the very next day. But if you ever do get the opportunity, one place to visit, Dublin, Ireland, the track's named Port Marnock. And I think the dates this year are August the 13th and 14th. And Aaron Merriman went last year, and he's going back again this year. They've got 2 drivers coming from Australia, one from New Zealand to drive. It's just a great experience, so I advise anybody that if you really like harness racing, try and make that trip to Dublin, Ireland sometime. We got a lot of fine people here tonight, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce them and show our respect by giving them a nice hand for being here tonight. I will say this, we've set a new all-time high for the number of people to introduce. Seems like the list gets bigger and bigger every year, but that is because Ohio is getting bigger and better every year for harness racing. Representing Byers, Minton and Associates, Greg Bennett. You didn't know you was going to be first up, did you? Did we do this alphabetically? I'm teasing. On behalf of State Representative Rich Carfagnan, Abe Jacob. Oh, this guy I go back 50 years with, maybe 55, and he already knows who's next up. Former State Representative Jim Beakey. Representing the 8th Pony Hitch, the Beakey Packing Company. Ohio State Racing Commission, Kim Rinker and Chairman Bob Smits. Please excuse Bob, he's unable to stand up tonight. You can sit down. Representing the Ohio Standard Board Development, Dick McClelland. Ohio Hall of Famer, Chairman of the Hamiltonian Society and the Breeders' Crown, Tom Charters. And former race secretary. Many years ago, the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association was founded, and one of those founders was Hugh Beatty, Betty Beatty. Former Stevens Award winner, Esther Crownover, and a Wilmington College graduate. Now retired and living the life of ease, Mel Hagemeyer. Representing the 79th District, State Representative Kyle Kohler. Ohio Hall of Famer and Mount Vernon, Ohio resident, and still one of the most active drivers at the Meadows. And I don't mean this in derogatory manner. At his age, Dick Stillings. He gets the job done day in and day out. I'd like to introduce the members of the United States Board from this District 1, and ask that they stand to be recognized as well. Dan Ader, you're looking great. Mr. and Mrs. Richard Brandt. Richard is the chairman of District 1 and treasurer. Mrs. Stacy Cahill and her husband Jeff. Mr. and Mrs. Skip Hubler. Mark Loy. Mr. and Mrs. Steve McCoy. Last but not least, Dr. and Mrs. John Mossberger. Representing our racetracks here in the Buckeye State. From Northfield Park, Ayers Ratliff Jr. and his family, and I'm sure his daughter will be a management official in a few years. She already can beat Ayers playing tic-tac-toe. Representing Hollywood Dayton, Mark Laurie. Eldorado Gaming in Scioto Downs, Stacy Cahill and husband Jeff, along with Jason Roth and Jessica Schroeder. Delaware County Fair, Tom Wright, Phil Terry, Jay Wolf, Diane Winters, and Jay Allen. That's the end of the introductions. Oh no, there is one more. How about Kevin Greenfield coming forward?
Well, I wanted to welcome all of our members and guests tonight to our annual banquet, where we honor our horses and people for their special accomplishments in 2016. It's certainly a night of celebration and recognition for all those that made 2016 such a great year. And for the OHHA, 2016 was a great year, a year of dynamic change, of growth, of challenge. And I'd like to just highlight a couple of things that we have accomplished this year that I think our staff and members and all associated with Ohio racing can be very proud of, because it's a pinnacle year, a leap forward year that we can now go forward in an attempt to be all that we think and should be. We, as you notice, the stallion auction out there, we've become tech savvy with it, and if you notice, you could bid online this year. We raised over $101,000 today in our stallion auction, which those proceeds, thank you, which those proceeds plus those contributions from our PACER, Political Action Committee, go towards our legislative efforts. 2 years ago, when I came up here and took this job, Chairman Schmitz of the Ohio State Racing Commission looked me straight in the eye before I took this job and said, Mr. Greenfield, no, he didn't say Mr., he just said Greenfield. Greenfield, the most important thing you can do is make sure that you raise money and be active with the legislature, because that's your lifeblood. He goes, don't ever forget it. Okay? Well, I didn't forget it, okay? You now, as an OHHA organization, have according to our lobbyists, one of the top 10% of the PACs in the state of Ohio. We are very active. We hosted legislative events for the Senate House, for the House of Representatives. Our word is heard in the state legislature loud and clear, thanks to, again, to the efforts of outgoing Representative Beakey, who has been our biggest advocate, along with Chairman Schmitz, and then the then Speaker of the House, to bring everything that was wonderful for us to us. Without their efforts, we wouldn't be here today. And they gave us, at least me, the guidance to get us off the right foot in that regard. But let's talk about other things that have taken place this year. The Attorney General, in opinion, has authorized that the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association receive directly their VLT discretionary money, which has allowed us to do amazing things for you for the benefit of racing and breeding in Ohio. This year, for the first time in the history of Ohio Harness Racing, you will have Breeders' Awards that will be mailed out to you by the end of March. The beauty of this is of the over 1,900 horses that are eligible for these awards, over 1,500 of them are Ohio-based. And those Breeders' Awards go to Ohio-based people and horses. And that was through the tireless efforts of so many people. I can't even say everybody, the breeders, the owners, the fair committee, everybody with the OHHA. All the time and effort that they put into putting these together is amazing. Your health and retirement, your retirement funds, anybody who got their retirement statements who's extremely active in the sport, notice a big spike in their contributions, which should continue. Your health insurance has been fully funded and is viable and self-sustaining. We have now developed through the efforts of my Vice President, Steve Bateson, and without him this wouldn't have happened, a second-tier racing program called the Buckeye Stallion Series, which was adopted by the board yesterday, and it is now viable for 2017. And I want to thank Steve personally for hours and hours of work on this. Thank you, Steve. Let me explain to you. You'll have just briefly, you'll have 3 legs of the minimum purse of $12,500. I want to thank the participating tracks that have agreed to do this, Miami Valley, Scioto, and Northfield Park, who is going to host the championship. Not only the championship of the Buckeye Stallion Series, but also the championship for the Ohio Fair Conference and the championship for the Ohio Sire State Consolation. My deepest thanks go to Northfield Park. Finally, after 2 years of talking about it up here, we finally have a reality with our marketing program. Yesterday at the board meeting, the board authorized a comprehensive marketing effort and production effort for marketing this year, which you will see starting around May for the rest of this year through our professional marketing company. The first year we did message mapping, which garnered people within the industry saying what they felt was the message we needed to hear. We got a variety of information from that, and we used that to give to our professionals, who then went out and did a comprehensive survey, talking to people at the racetracks, those who go every day, those who sometimes go, people who've never gone. And the results that we found were amazing, and I want to share those with you because going forward, this is going to be exciting. First of all, what they found by their efforts, and this is over a 2-year period, and I'm not a marketing guy, but apparently it takes this amount of time to finally get to the point to create the product. We found that the first thing we found was that we don't have a perception problem with the general public. We have a general perception problem with those associated in the industry, but those not associated with the industry have heard of harness racing, think that it may be fun, exciting, an alternative to going to the movies and other things, much like auto racing was years ago, but they don't know how to do it. They're afraid to try because they just really don't understand it or know. They found that our sport has skipped 2 generations of information. And that makes a lot of sense when you think about it. You think back in the 60s and 50s and early 70s when this sport was thriving at Roosevelt Raceway in Yonkers, and you'd come to the jug. I mean, everybody was Falcon Almahurst and Strikeout and all these horses that everybody and the heroes that we had in the sport. Everyone knew about it then, and everyone came. But we have skipped 2 generations. They say it's now time to get that message back out. And they said that you have saved yourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars that you don't have to recreate an image for the sport because your image isn't tarnished with the general public. You can start fresh. They've come up with ideas. We're going to share those. We're going to promote this year. You're going to see it in many different millennia. This isn't a bunch of horse people that have gotten together and decided, hey, we're going to try this. We have the marketing company that has the account for the Ohio Lottery, an $18 million account. They handle all of their advertising. They're going to do it. They have actually found state-funded money for us to use, over $100,000 through the Ohio Tourism Program. I was blown away by what I saw. What I'm most excited about is we don't know if this is going to work. We do know that the message that's going to be sent is going to be very positive. It's going to inform people, and it's going to make people aware of our sport. Whether it works or not is hard to gauge, but what impressed me the most was when they told me, I said, objectively, subjectively, how are you going to gauge this, whether it works? And they said, simple. We now have to try to get people back to the racetrack, back wagering, and participate in the sport. We have benefited from the racinos. We've benefited from that legislation. But the meat and potatoes of this industry when we first started was pari-mutuel handle at the racetracks. And what they said was our objective criteria is going to be how is this measured in participation and actual handle at the racetracks. That's what their marketing program is gauged to. Now that is an ambitious goal, but it's our survival. Because as you know, based on pari-mutuel handle is how a lot of our programs, our sire stakes for the most part gets funded a lot from that and other programs. It's the lifeblood, and we have to learn to survive without this long term. It's been tried other places, but it's failed. We're going to try it, and we're going to do it on a big scale. So look for it. Let's see what happens. I want to thank all of you for coming. This is an exciting time. This year you'll have many racing opportunities, breeders' awards. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us. This is growing. We're going to have stumbling blocks along the way, but we've never had this type of opportunity. It's time to grasp it. I want to thank personally my executive director, Renee Mancino, for all the hard work that she's done this year. She's incredibly dedicated to her job. My staff at the OHHA, which I want to tell, and our new senior accountant, Deborah Lawrence, who we just hired, I want to tell you, you couldn't ask for a more dedicated staff to work on your behalf. They work well together, they're organized, we're in the 21st century, we're progressing, and I can't thank them enough, and the people on the board who've made my job very, very challenging, but rewarding for me. And I want to wish everyone the best tonight and congratulate all those award winners. Thank you.
Now to introduce the directors of the nominating committee of the OHHA and all the other individuals. Dick Brandt, could you come forward?
Good evening. Welcome. It's a great turnout tonight. We're glad to see you all. I have about 3 tasks here in a row that we'll try to rip through. My first is to introduce the OHHA board members who were elected this afternoon to continue to represent you on the OHHA board. And please, if you'll stand when I read your name, remain standing if you'll hold your applause till we've introduced everybody, and we'll recognize them for their accomplishments. For the breeders, Joe McLeod, Ayers Ratliff Sr., Randy Haynes, and Jake Mossbarger, a newly elected director. At trainer drivers, Dan Ayer, Scott Mogan, and Brian Brown. District directors from District 4, Sue Ann Kachilla, District 7, Steve Bateson. Our Vice President, Steve Bateson, and of course our President, Kevin Greenfield. Let's give them all a big hand. Being a director of OHHA is a really rewarding job, sometimes a thankless job, and I would thank everyone, all the directors that are here in the room for their efforts on our behalf. Another one of my charges today is to welcome you on behalf of the United States Trotting Association. We're really fortunate that the USTA office is not only in Ohio, but is in Columbus, probably about a 10-minute drive from where we are tonight. USTA, along with OHHA, has a great staff. They're dedicated to the sport. Many of them were raised in the sport. Many of them are still actively involved. They really have done a great job. We have a chief executive in Mike Tanner, but his whole staff is to be congratulated for their efforts and their work on our behalf. USTA in the past year and previous years has moved much more towards the electronic age. Our years of shuffling papers, filing applications for memberships, registrations, and everything soon will be a thing of the past. And as the electronic age moves forward, our jobs and our involvement as horse owners, breeders, trainers, drivers, you name it, is going to get easier, more transparent, and will, I think, end up as a much more efficient organization. But so on behalf of the USTA, I want to thank you for your efforts for our industry, for your involvement, for coming tonight, and I wish you all well in the coming year. May everybody here have a great horse. And finally, I think it's my turn still. Just keep going, right? I don't see what I'm supposed to present yet, but that's all right. Next is an award that's, although I look like a senior now, is named for my father, and who was also one of the founders of the OHHA. And it was created several years ago to honor and financially reward local horsemen's associations that work at various county fairgrounds around the state to enhance our sport. And the one that we're going to recognize today and award has certainly lived up to that. And I'd like to invite the representatives of the Darke County Harness Horsemen's Association to please come forward as I read to you some of their accomplishments. And Representative Beakey, I don't know whether you want to climb up these steps or not, but we'd sure welcome you as a Darke County icon to join us up here. I suppose you'll be up here great later. Please come on up. The Darke County Horsemen's Association is the recipient of the 15th Annual Dick Brandt Senior Extra Effort Award. This award is presented, as I said, to local horsemen's associations and matinee clubs that have given the most to their county fair or local community during the year that they're nominated. The Darke County Association is very active in their county fair racing program in their community, located in Greenville, over on the Indiana border. Close enough, we still claim you though, you can't. And of course the home of Gene Regal and a lot of great horsemen going back decades. They've done so much. Among the things, and you can read about these in your program, but I try to highlight, they hosted a group of approximately 80 agricultural students from Wilmington College for a field day at their fairgrounds. The group provided educational stations including horseshoeing, pacers and trotters, harnessing, equipment, horse classes, entries, and some students took a ride on the track. They have a matinee every year. They had 21 races this year. Pretty amazing. They were able to maintain, the fair, with their help, maintains 4 days of racing with 5 racing sessions. They have the Gene Regal Memorial, on and on and on and on. Again, the people at our fairgrounds have been the heart of this industry for decades. And I can't think of a better example of the people who have done so much for us than the Darke County Association and, of course, Jim Beakey. So, the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association recognizes the Darke County Horsemen's Association with the Richard Brandt Senior Extra Effort Award for your contributions to the harness racing community and your own local community. Congratulations. You have our congratulations and our check. Where do you want us, over here? Over here. All right. Yep, I'm sorry. I'm done now.
Door prizes, get your tickets out. Gift basket donated by Hard Rock Casino, Northfield Park. 65. See Emily right here, back in the back. Okay, you pick them up after the banquet's over. Just have they've got the number, tell them you're 65. Gift basket donated by Eldorado Gaming, Sire to Downs, 125. 125. Okay, after the banquet's over, you got to stay to the very end to get your door prize. No leaving early.
They drove from Kentucky, they can stay.
Gift basket donated by Eldorado Gaming, Sire to Downs, another one. Number 2727. I see 5 hands, okay. After it's over. Gift set donated by the United States Trotting Association from the Ohio Standardbred Pleasure Horse, number 4343. Number 43, back of the room. Like to bring to the podium at this time now, Sandy Beatty for a presentation of a Special Recognition Award.
There'll be no speeches. Cindi Johnson, would you please come forward? Speak into the microphone. You know, sometimes on a racetrack, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. And, I mean, you can have unruly horses, you can have a loose horse after an accident, you break a bit, you break a line. These are kind of those oh crap moments. And when you have these oh crap moments, if you were racing at Pompano Park in the 90s, or Lebanon Raceway, Sire Downs, Delaware, Miami Valley, Dayton Raceway when they opened, the answer to those moments was Cindi Johnson. For the last 20 years, Cindi has been outriding at those tracks. And you really have to understand the importance of having somebody that's dedicated, has the expertise, the ability, and the courage, and a horse that can do it, that's trained well enough to do it, to ride into a group of horses or a bad situation and come out with a positive outcome. That's special. So, you know, it's really important for our sport to have Cindi and people like Cindi for the safety of the horses, safety of the drivers. This is what Cindi and her horse Bo, she's had for, I think it says in your thing, 17 years, been riding Bo. He's as special as Cindi is, believe me. We've witnessed it, all of us. If we were at Delaware that day, she captured Charlie Norris when he broke a bit or broke a line or whatever happened. And I know Charlie was really grateful for it. So it's my pleasure to present this trophy on behalf of the OHHA for all the years of service that Cindi has given us. And it says the Ohio Horsemen Association recognizes the incredible talent of Cindi Johnson as an outrider on the Ohio tracks. Your dedication to keep the horsemen and horses safe is truly appreciated.
I would just like to thank everyone, and Bo and I do appreciate it, so thank you again.
More door prizes. A plaque donated by Ann Lufkin. Marvin Raber, where are you at? 120, is that your number? About the only person who wrote his name on the ticket. And another plaque donated by Ann Lufkin. The special person of the night. Number 1. Who's got number 1? You're extra special. Plush blanket with a race photo donated by J.J. Semeko Photography Incorporated. Number 30. 30. Back corner. Thin wrap print donated by S.F. Johnson. 116. 116. Back of the room. If you was here last year, I think we had one table that won 7 prizes. It's not happening tonight, at least yet. Race print in a frame donated by Conrad Photo. Number 18. 18. Uh-oh, we're getting heavy on that end. Number 18. Pick them up after the banquet is over. I'd like to bring back to the stage, I wish we would have kept you up here. Retired State Representative Jim Beakey for the presentation of the OHHA Terry Holton Youth Award.
Thank you very much, Roger. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real privilege to come back each year for this award because I'm so excited about the young generations that are getting into the industry. And I'd like to, at this point, invite Ashley Dunn to the stand, please. And while she's coming up, give her a hand on the way up. Ashley is daughter of Kurt and Becky Sugg from Wayne County. I always enjoy going to Worcester every year, or often, to the fair. But Ashley is just typical of the ongoing success of this industry. She started in this business when she was 10 years old. And I don't mean training and driving, I mean mucking stalls and doing all that stuff. I used to handle a lot of that stuff myself. But Ashley goes to Northwestern School in Wayne County. She's also a student at Ashland University, where she's majoring in the medical field. And she currently trains several horses. She's owner of 2 horses, two babies, one a trotter and one a pacer. She's just excited about what she does. And it's because of that enthusiasm that it helps mom and dad become more successful each year. When the kids are involved, This is typical of the familyness of this sport. And why we're all growing so much is because of the Ashley Dunns. And I just want you to know that she goes an extra mile because she's working in the equine industry. She's teaching children in elementary school about how to recycle food that can be then fed to horses. It just all goes hand in hand in the agriculture industry. She's taken that upon herself to do that, to help educate people not only in the importance of the food we eat, but the importance of the equine industry to agriculture, which is the #1 industry state. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Holton would be just beaming from ear to ear, Jerry, if he were here tonight to see Ashley Dunn accept this. So Ashley Dunn, Terry Holton Award winner, 2017. You're terrific.
Yes. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, especially my family and my table of friends, family over there. I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me. If it wasn't for my mom, or Kurt, or my vet, or anyone, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm just so thankful for everything they've done for me. Thank everyone. Thank you.
I'd like to call up Wade Flory, president of the Signature Series, to present the Signature Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here this evening. I'm president of the Signature Series. We're a growing series in the fair industry. If you don't have us and you'd like to have us, get in touch with me. Be glad to help you out. At this time, the Signature Series Pace winner for 2016, Harvard Z-Tam, owned by Phil Groves. And I don't know if there's someone here to accept for Phil. I was told he could not be here this evening. His wife was induced yesterday, so he declined to come here, which I understand. Okay, then we'll go ahead with the trot winner was Rompaway Bow. Owner was Christy Harmon. And accepting will be Amy Holler. Uh-huh.
I did forget, Donnie and Krista said, please accept it, get our check, and thank everyone. So thank you, everyone. Now I'm going to sing a little song for you.
John Kineski, you want to come on up? We're changing the order of the script a little for our next award.
Don Hammond, would you please come forward? This year we have a new award that OHHA is presenting, and quite frankly, this should have been done many, many years ago and continuing. This is probably one of the most important cogs in the getting of a horse to the races and maintaining the health and well-being of those horses. And this award is for the outstanding groom of the year. What we as drivers, trainers, owners, quite often forget is that the people who are most closely associated with our horses, who spend the most time with our horses, are the grooms. They are dedicated, loyal, put the welfare of the horse first. By that I mean finish up his horse or go to lunch. The good ones say, well, if I have to miss lunch, I miss lunch, but the horse comes first. And this person, Miss Dawn Hammond, is very dedicated. You can ask anybody that knows her or me. She is loyal. She has worked for the same employer for almost 33 years. That's longer than most marriages last. And she truly puts the horse first. At this time, I am very honored and grateful to present the very first Ohio Outstanding Grooms Award to Ms. Dawn Hammond.
I'd like to say thank you. The opportunity of taking care of some awful nice horses over the years, and I really appreciate this. Hopefully we can have some more good ones along the way, and hope everybody has a great year. Thank you.
I'm going to get on Facebook. You see what was on Facebook this week? They put up something about a thoroughbred trainer that he told one of these caretakers. He says, now if you come back when you feed tonight, be sure you reset the bandages on such and such a horse. He says, if you do that, I'll give you a $20 bill. So the next morning, the caretaker walked up to him and says, give me my 20. The trainer walked over the horse, took off the bandages, and the $20 bill was inside the bandage. Now, that's not the case here, but I just thought it was kind of apropos to tell that one. So, and there's a well-known thoroughbred trainer. Back on schedule here. Ann Lufkin and her husband Ray, along with Judy Foreman, present a painting of the winning horses of the 2016 HM Partial Memorial Fraternity Trot and Pace at the Great Dark County Fair in Greenville, Ohio.
That's called getting past the obstacles, Amy. On behalf of the Partial Society, hope everybody's enjoying it here tonight. We had a really, really good year out in Dark County this year with the racing. And obviously, Judy Foreman's not here tonight. She sends her regrets. So we've asked Brian Jones and company to join us from Dark County Harness Horsemen Association, because without them and their support, we couldn't put this good race on. Brian, did we have some good racing this year?
Very, very good.
Very good racing. Okay, we're going to start out with Chelsea's a winner. Really nice 2-year-old pacer. Is there anybody here, any of the connections here for that? I mean, last year we had excuses, kind of the weather was bad. This year there's no real good excuses, is there?
Well, they're in South Carolina.
They're in South Carolina. Oh, sorry for them. They're going to miss out on this fun up here. Well, then we're going to go to the next one. We'll go down and photograph him. Okay, Always a Shark. Really nice race. Dougie was surprised he actually won that one. He had to wait to see till the next heat ran. It's getting to kind of be a thing now. Last 2 years, he's the winner in the trot. So anybody from S&R Stables or Leonard Schwartz, anybody here? Well, that's two. Anybody? Oh, well, I guess you all get the pictures taken. Have a great evening, folks.
Door prizes. A gallon of healthy horse donated by Omega Alpha. I hope you have a horse. 106, 106. You don't have any horses, come on. Johnny Yoder. A $100 Speedway gift card donated by Post Printing and shirt donated by New Vocations, number 29. That table wins again. It's getting to be a habit. A $100 gift card donated by Northfield Tax Shop, 5353. Ryan Holton. $100 gift card donated by Northfield Tax Shop again. 118, 118. Back at, I know why you're here tonight. That's coming up. Jay Wolf of the Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Riders Association, and some guy that saves my rear end more times than not at Delaware, Ohio. He keeps more statistics than I do. He hands me a book at the beginning of the year. It's about that thick.
Good evening. My name is Jay Wolf, and with Ayers Ratliff, it is our pleasure to present tonight's Ohio chapter of the United States Harness Riders Association Awards. Without further ado, we will begin with the Peter Houghton Memorial Award for the young Ohioan who is an up-and-coming star among harness horsemen. This year, we are pleased to present the award to Eric Tharps, Jr. Eric scored his first victory in 2011 at Northfield Park when he guided Silky Sailor to a 157-1 victory. Now 24, Eric has 65 career wins. Last year he had 36 wins and earned more than $240,000. Eric scored 23 of his wins last season at Northfield Park against some guys named Wren, Merriman, and Sugg. Please welcome the Peter Houghton Memorial Award winner Eric Tharps, Jr.
How's everybody doing tonight? I just want to take the time to thank all the owners, trainers for letting me drive their horses. Hopefully I'm up here again. Thank you.
The next award from this segment goes to the Winner's Circle Award, which is presented to an Ohioan that has achieved outstanding accomplishments within the past year. This year, Aaron Merriman will receive that award. He's also receiving a special recognition award from the OHHA. Aaron is the 2015 and 2016 National Dash winning driver. Last year, he went to the Winner's Circle 891 times, earning $7.7 million and recording a 347 driving standing. Along with his natural talents as a driver, he is known as one of the hardest working drivers and one of the nicest guys in the sport. Last year, he went to the starting gate almost 4,300 times. He was a regular at the Meadows during the day and in Northfield Park in the evening doing double headers all year long. Not only does he do double headers, but they're 135 or so miles apart, and so he makes that trip every single day. He's also the winningest driver in the history of Northfield Park and is on the youngest inductee into our Wall of Fame. He cannot be here with us tonight. He is one that doesn't take a lot of time off work. That's how he drives in so many races. But Dick Stillings is here tonight to accept his award.
Hello, everybody. I get to watch Aaron race about much as anybody in the country. He races at our place all the time. He's one of the best gate persons I've probably ever seen. He can get a horse out of the gate as fast as anybody I've ever seen. He told me to say a lot of this stuff, but I'm not going to. He said, but he did say he wanted to tell all you guys from Ohio that drives with him at a regular basis at Scioto that he's a better person than he is a driver. Thank you.
Next, we honor Jim Beakey as the Rambling Willie Award winner. This award is presented to an Ohioan who has done the most for the sport of harness racing over the past 2 decades. Former Representative Jim Beakey is a former horse owner and a longtime friend of the sport at the track and in the state government. He served in the Ohio House for over 22 years. He was the Assistant Director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture. He is a native of Greenville, Ohio. He helped pass the full card simulcast legislation in the 80s and was a tireless supporter of the video lottery terminals that we enjoy today. He is the 2015 Little Brown Jug Wall of Fame honoree. Please welcome Mr. Jim Beakey.
I want to thank everybody for coming to the wake. I've been running around the track so much I'm going to pass out. I actually fell in love with the sport when I was 15 at the Darke County Fair. And I grew up with people, names that you may not know, Tom Carlock and Herman Ross, who raced on the Grand Circuit, the Roaring Grand. And then came Gene Regal, and by the time I was 18 years old, I was hooked. And what I learned about fairs, not only as Kevin mentioned earlier, it's really the lifeblood of the sport. And here in Ohio, we're blessed because we have so many counties that race horses. And we're even going to add 2 more this year who dropped out some time ago. So that is the genesis of farmers racing horses that became county fairs that developed into this magnificent sport. And here we are as families celebrating our victories this year and our successes in this sport. And why you heard me before say I'm so excited about the young people who are coming in now as the pot grows, the interest rises. And what a neat thing about that we're going to have happen that bucks the trend is by developing better fair racing, which we have done now with VLTs. And as the purses go up and as the entries go up and as the quality of the horses goes up, we're getting new people involved in the sport. And those new people not only are investing in the sport, but they will eventually go to the tracks and they'll help at the window. Now, it's agriculture. I was fortunate, my district, House District, the 84th House District of Auglaize, Darke, Mercer, and Shelby County produces 15% of total food in the state of Ohio every year. Harness racing, the standardbred industry, is agriculture. And that's a legacy that we want to continue to grow and pass on and encourage others to get in it. I was blessed to be in public service over 33 years. I like to think that I positively worked hard to not only grow agriculture, but this sport. Rambling Willie, he was, as my good friend Bob Schmidt says, he was what was the term we? No. He was a grinder. He was a grinder. Rambling Willie raced 305 times. He had 128 wins. He won $2 million. He averaged 28 starts a year for 11 years. He went out and he had something that you never, as Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons said and as Bob Farrington said, he had something that you cannot gauge when you look at a horse. Heart, it's inside. What happened is that the rambling willies of the world, and all of you have had rambling willies. That's why you're here. They don't quit. They race. They compete. They want to win. I'm so happy and honored to receive the Rambling Willie Award. You'll never know how I feel about this. Thank you.
This year we have the opportunity to induct a hard-knocking trotter, Dunkster, into the Ohio Standardbred Hall of Fame. Dunkster is a chestnut son of striking Sabra who was bred by Jack Tremonti and Paul Bailey. He was owned by Dean Davis during his 11-year racing career, and Kurt Sugg trained Dunkster virtually his entire career, as well as drove him the vast majority of his starts. Dunkster raced 287 times, racking up 89 wins, including a world record performance at Northfield Park. He bankrolled an astounding $894,321. Dunkster raced on 27 different racing surfaces, winning at 22 different places between 9 different states. He trotted his 153-3 lifetime mark at Balmoral Park at age 8. He's also on the Northfield Park Wall of Fame. We do welcome him into the Ohio Standardbred Hall of Fame. Kurt Sugg is here this evening to accept the award for Dunkster.
Martha Davis couldn't be here tonight, so she asked me to accept this. Dunkster gave me quite a bit of thrills over the years, and hope to get another one like him someday. Thank you.
It is our pleasure now to enshrine Joe Marsh Jr. into the Ohio Hall of Fame as an immortal. Joe Marsh was one of the top drivers in the glory days of harness racing. He drove nearly 5,900 winners and earned over $36.4 million. From 1960 through 1994, he had a streak of driving at least 100 winners each year. He also had a streak of 14 straight years in which he earned $1 million. Mr. Marsh represented the United States 4 times in the World Drivers' Championships. He has the distinction of being the first American driver to win that championship in 1974. He drove some of the top horses in the country: Careless Time, Tarport Hap, Sir Darley, Follow That Star, and Rambling Willie. Ohio Hall of Famer Jerry Knappenberger will be accepting the award on behalf of the Marsh family. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us honor Joe Marsh Jr.
One of the first times I got to see Joe Marsh race was 1973 at the Ohio State Fair. He came into Columbus with a horse that had been racing in the county fairs in northwest Ohio, a horse named the Champ. He had a record of 2-5-2. He was hooked to a single shaft sulky and beat a horse that we trained in the Director of Agricultural Pace. So, but I've been pushing to have Joe Marsh inducted with all the credentials that Jay has mentioned. And of course, he has quite a few children that are scattered over the country, and there was none that could come tonight. He and his son are the only 2, father and son, to have each won 5,000 races in their career. And like I said, my first time watching him, I wasn't thrilled with the outcome because he beat us. But the horse he beat, Playboy Hanover, later that year got a check in the jug and won the fastest stake race at Lexington, paced the fastest mile of the year in 1:56.4. So it worked out. But Mr. Marsh just passed away, And like I said, he represented the United States in the World Driving Championship about 4 or 5 times and won it. And it's kind of interesting. 2 of the guys, very good horsemen that started their career with Joe, wear variations of his colors. His former son-in-law, Jeff Fout, and Merritt Doakey, a great horseman in New York, in Detroit, has the same colors.
The sign.
You won't be back. Anyway, his colors of red, blue, and gray. Jeff Fout and Merritt Doakey worked for him, and he worked under Joe. So one of the great drivers of all times.
We're going to go over there and get your picture taken.
So we're at the point of our program now where we truly get to honor one of the greats of our state by placing them into the Ohio Hall of Fame. When you go into the Ohio Hall of Fame, you join people such as Curly Smart, Gene Regal, Chip Noble, Chuck Sylvester, just to name a few. Tonight we add the 43rd member into the Ohio Harness Racing Hall of Fame, Marty Wollum. How appropriate that the OHHA moved this banquet this year to Worthington, as Worthington High School, just a couple miles up the road, is where the Marty Wollum story actually began. In 1965, he was a student at Worthington High School when Marty signed on to work for trainer Forrest Short. After graduating from The Ohio State University, he soon started his own stable. Through the past 50-plus years, Marty has conditioned some of the top horses that our state has ever seen. Among his nearly 1,800 training wins, there are 12 Ohio Sire Stake Championships, with standouts such as Come On Ashley, Full Count, Count Me In, Doink and Doney, Contessa Lee, and Neely's Messenger. He's also campaigned Striking Sabra, the 2008 inductee into the Ohio Standardbred Hall of Fame, and Caviar for the Lady, Pennsylvania Sires Stake champion and winner of almost $600,000. As a driver, Mr. Wollum has made almost 1,200 trips to the winner's circle. A resident of Vienna, Ohio, Marty was selected in 2011 Wall of Fame honoree by his home track, Northfield Park. The Wollum stable is truly a family operation. His wife of 38 years, Patricia, owned and cared for many of their horses until her passing in 2012. His son Miles is a vital to his stable's operations. His daughter Lori is an active caretaker. Lori's husband, Al Menke III, is Wollum's second trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ohio's newest member of the Hall of Fame, Marty Wollum.
Boy, I can't remember what my action was when Ayers called me, but I can tell you I'm really excited, a little bit emotional. It's quite an honor. First of all, I want to thank the members of the Ohio chapter of the U.S. Harness Riders Associations for considering me for this honor and think that I'm qualified and capable of getting it. Joining people like Curly Smart, Gene Regal, Terry Holton, Dick Buxton, these guys I knew and inspired me when I was young to try and even get close to being as good as they were. And I think maybe I have a little bit. Ayers stole a little bit of my thunder. I started working for Forrest Short when I was 16. And Forrest taught me a lot of things, but the main thing he taught me was there's no shortcut getting your horses to the races. If you do your work and condition them properly, they'll do your talking. You don't have to tell anybody anything. They'll win. And I follow that's clear till today. And while I was working for Forrest, I did meet my wife, Patty, and for over 40 years we formed a partnership. Then we worked hard, and she was a dedicated individual, and without her I wouldn't have been half as successful as I was. And Ayers mentioned my family. I'm very lucky that we had 2 wonderful children. Both of them got away from the business for a little while, but they realized they really do love it. and they're back now. My daughter and my son-in-law, Al's now managing Steiner Stock Farm in Lime, Ohio, so I lost him as a second trainer, but my son stepped up, and I think we're going to be okay. There's been a lot of change since I started in the business. When I first started, the drivers wore silk hats at Hilliard Raceway. We had wire wheels. We didn't have mud fenders because if it was muddy, you didn't race until Souder Downs built the all-weather racetrack. Our harnesses were all leather. Now they're all beta. We tied our harnesses in and we used tugs. Nowadays, people wouldn't even know how to card up. Now we have quick hitch harnesses, makes it really easy. There's been a lot of things that have changed to make our business better. Safety helmets. Unfortunately, when I worked for Forrest, he was killed in an accident on a racetrack where his helmet wasn't good enough. The new helmets now, he probably would still survive that. We took the hub rails out, probably one of the greatest things that took us forever to figure out that it was safe, and it saved a lot of people. The quick hitch harness, the open passing lanes, staggered starting gates, these are all things that have changed our industry. So when I first started, 2 minute was the miracle mile. Now 2 minutes qualifying time, and we're all going for the 46 mile that David Miller did this year. So I've been very fortunate to have seen all this. I'd love to come back 50 years from now and to this group and see all the changes that happened between now and then. But I just want to thank everybody so much. I'm blessed to have done something that I love doing. I've never had to get up and go to work in the morning. I just go to the barn, and it's been really, really fulfilling. And this tops it off. Thank you very much.
I don't make up stories, but the other night we were presenting an award to Aaron Merriman at the Meadows, live on TV, and he didn't show up in time. We knew he was running late, and they finally told me in my headset, hey, Aaron just arrived. So I did the big build-up, and driving back and forth from Cleveland all the time, and you know, he has traffic problems on Ohio Turnpike and Interstate 79 and getting to the Meadows, and he must have had those problems tonight. Aaron comes on the air and he says, well, that wasn't the problem tonight. He says, I was backing out of my driveway and my next door neighbor hit me in the rear end. I also 47 speeding tickets, that's an awful lot. So he has to drive both tracks. And then when Jay kind of got after Knappenberger for talking too long, reminded me we inducted Tom White into the Communicators Hall of Fame at Goshen, and I'd been teasing Tom. Everybody, I think most of the people know he was publicity director at Sourdough and Red Mile, Delaware, now retired. And I told him, I says, now don't get up there and talk too much. If you do, I'm going to get the hook out and get you. He had talked about 2.5 minutes, and I was just teasing him. Walked up and I tapped him on the shoulder. He hadn't even thanked his wife for all the years. He walked off the stage almost immediately. You notice, though, Knappenberger's not a Tom White. Knappenberger kept right on going. Look at that frown on his face. Dick McClelland, next up, presentation of the Jerry Kaltenbach Awards. I got a story about Jerry too, but I won't go into that one.
We got a couple more awards, and then we're going to give the things we came for, the horse awards. Jerry Kaltenbach, the awards are given annually to the leading trainer and driver in the Ohio Sire Stakes. This year's winners are Chris Page and Jim Daly. Chris bested 79 other drivers with 40 wins and $1.4 million in earnings. Jim takes the training title for the 4th time with 17 wins and $900,000 in purses in just Ohio Sire Stakes. Are they here? They must be out earning money. Here comes somebody.
We're accepting this award on behalf of my father, Jim. It's actually, I just want to thank you very, very much for recognizing all of his achievement in this industry. I've watched my family sacrifice a lot over the years, and anybody who knows my father knows that he can make any horse into a true athlete. We would not be anywhere without our faithful owners and our many grooms in the barn right now, and also my mother. If any of you know my mother, she definitely keeps our stable on track, and it's very possibly, it's easy to say that our house would probably be burnt down by now without my mom. So thank you very much.
Another true story. For a number of years, I was the announcer at the Ohio State Fair, and there was a speed superintendent by the name of Schmitz. Always sent me a Christmas card every year. Showed Santa Claus and the reindeer. Just had an accident, and he says, "I said the Schmitz house." But that year, my last year at the Ohio State Fair, was the year that Governor Gilligan was driving a 40-horse hitch on the racetrack. Wasn't really, but he's riding on the hitch. Schmitz came to me and he says, now, when Gilligan goes in front of the stands, he says, you announce, and driving a 40-horse hitch is the governor of the state of Ohio. Gilligan, I can't even remember his name. And he says, the crowd all go, boo, boo. And he says, now, as soon as he gets by, he says, I don't want to let you announce this. He says, there's going to be a guy walking across the track. And he says, you announce, and now crossing the track, the former governor of the state of Ohio, James A. Rhodes. And he says, and the crowd all go, yay! And he says, get in your car and get the hell out of town. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Kaltenbach, who was the fair manager at that time. It's the only job I got fired at. 58 years they fired me at the Ohio State Fair for that. Door prizes, Zinger harness, donated by Big D's. Ticket number 3. Ticket 3, right over there. That better be Adam Beatty. Number 2 to write his name on the ticket. Extreme harness, donated by OHHA and Extreme Harness. Ticket number 22. That end of the room again. And Fleischer knee and tendon boots, donated by OHHA and Extreme Harness, and stable blanket, donated by Ohio Standard Bred and Friends. Ticket number 119. 119. 119. The Woolham table. Now we get to the main part of the evening, so to speak, the horse awards. Selena Esty and John Kineski III, if you come forward, the OHHA directors, to present Divisional Horse of the Year and Breeders' Awards.
I just told Roger age before beauty, and he had to wait to go back down the steps, because I think he fits that last category. Now we're at the part of the program, the main events, so to say. Before we get to this, while everybody is here, we will not see this many influential people in our business in one place. I would just like everybody to realize the fact that we worked very hard to get to where we're at right now, and I do think that Ohio has the best program anywhere. Of course, I'm prejudiced, but I think that we do. In the future, we will have to work hard to not only make our great sport grow here in Ohio, but we're going to have to work very hard to keep it. It's going to take work and some political contributions to keep it going. So please consider Pacer, help us out. It's the way the game's played, but we need to play it. So please consider it. All right, done with the serious stuff. Let's get to the serious awards here. We're going to ask the representatives of the winning horses to come forward, and then we will proceed and so forth. Would the representatives of Scotch McEwan please come forward? Owners, trainers, breeders, drivers. This year's first award goes to the 2-year-old colt Pace, Scotch McEwan. Scotch McEwan's sire is McCarta, out of the dam Forever Ivy by Stand Forever. This year, this fine horse had 8 starts with 5 wins, 1 second, 1 third, a record of 152 and 3, and earnings of over $213,000. Major accomplishments this year: he had 3 wins in the Sire Stakes, legs. He won the Sire Stakes final and the Breeders' Championship at Delaware. He's owned by Carl Atlee, the breeder, Rebecca Ewing, trainer, Jim Daly, and driven by Josh Sutton. 2-year-old colt Pacer, Scotch McEwan.
And Scotch McEwan.
If you look at the monitors on the side, we have a little.
Him being green, not trying to over-race him early, and I went his first start, and he was placed last because I cut somebody down, and they stuck with me, and said it was no big deal, but it was to me. And him at the in the final, at the right past the half, he tried to run out the draw gate, and he come back and still win the final after that. He was like 4 deep from there on, 3 or 4 deep, and that's something about him I'll never forget.
The half, 56 and 4, 29 flat. Scotch McEwan with the lead along neck back on the outside. Gotta go. BB is second. Gapping the pocket spot is McSpidey. Up on the outside now. Fourth is Sonny's Bro. Always Take Points is off the rail from fifth. He's followed by Indigo Art. Saving ground to the inside. It's White Sock down now. Eighth is Big Bad Mike, and the trailer continues to be Colossal Casanova. On to 3/4. It's Scotch McEwan with the lead. He trips to the beam at 124 and 4. 28 flat backside. Gotta go. BB is stalled second. 3 wide. Sonny's Bro comes on from third. Now second. Giving way McSpidey. Always Take Points. 4 to make up as they come to the top of the stretch. It's Scotch McEwan with the lead. Closing in from second. Sonny's Bro is closing for the Grizz. Gotta go. BB is still there. Third. It's Scotch McEwan with the lead. Scotch McEwan to win it over Sonny's Bro. And Gotta Go BB held off Always Take Points for third, 152 and 3.
Drunk on Your Love. In their second is Mick Lucky. Barnabas on the outside. Pace car has been sent 3 wide for Chris Page. At the rail is Ron's Pro. Trying to move from the back. Scotch McEwan as they move on to 3/4. Pace car on the outside is coming on to get the lead. Looming large here. Scotch McEwan 3/4, 124. In and around the final turn. Pace car the leader. Scotch McEwan there in second. Drunk on Your Love has given way. The outside corner con artist with Ron's Pro to the top of the stretch, and it's Pace Car. Pace Car turns first. Scotch McEwan has been sent to the outside. Then it's corner con artist, Scotch McEwan, and Pace Car. Scotch McEwan comes on to win it. Photos for the rest in 154.
So we'd like to thank the organization. It's a great organization to be a part of. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank the, always calling Bill Daly Stable, and all the caretakers there. It's one of the cleanest stables I've ever walked into. I just want to thank them very much, and also want to thank Josh for driving the horse. Appreciate it, and thanks very much.
would just like to thank the OHHA for making this award possible this year. It really means a lot to us breeders. And I'd like to thank all the connections to Scotch McEwan. Thank you very much.
And if the connections to Berazzled would start to come forward, this year's 2-year-old filly pace is Berazzled, a Charlie Barley out of Razzmatazz, Hanover, a mark of 153-3 on a 5/8, earnings of $196,265. The owner is Marion Beachy,
Third, she is gapping as a sprint grass.
and we're gonna watch the film. Or not. She always likes to do this to me. The breeder is Lisa Izzo from Delaware, trained by Danny Collins. The primary drivers were Peter Wren and Ryan Holton. 8 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds, with such highlighted races as at Northfield Park on 8/15, the Ohio Sire Stakes for $40,000. On August the 23rd at Scioto, the Sire Stakes going for $40,000. And in September at Northfield Park, the final Sire Stakes going for $250,000. Congratulations.
The half in 56 seconds, 28-2, second panel, and full body shot. Took the lead, quickly opens up 3 from Berazzled. Marvelous is their third, outside racing in a fourth. Grinding it out is Classy but Sassy to the inside. Mrs. Charles Sparkley is followed by Bourbon and Barley. Then it is Official Kisser and the trailer. Bella's Brown-Eyed Girl on to 3/4 they go. They'll trip the beat for 3/4 in 1, 23-4, 27-4 backside. And on the outside from the pocket, Berazzled is underway again. Classy but Sassy went off stride further back. Full body shot trying to fight back. Marvelous is still grinding third, outside down fourth is Bourbon and Barley. They're off the turn on their way home. Berazzled on the outside with a short lead. Full body shot trying to fight back to the inside. Late pace from Bourbon and Barley. It's Berazzled with the lead. Bourbon and Barley closing. Berazzled hangs on to win it over Bourbon and Barley and Bella's Brown-Eyed Girl, 153-3.
55 the halftime. Zoe Ellison is out there fourth. Fifth at the rail is Bye Bye Felicia. Underway is Berazzled. As they make their swing around the turn to the back stretch, at the rail comes Da Vinci Artist. Then it's Bourbon and Barley and Marvelous. They pace by 3/4 they go, and with the lead, Big Bad Jane on the outside, Type A Gray. Bye Bye Felicia's at the rail, needing racing room. 3 wide is Zoe Ellison, 124 3/4, and it's Type A Gray, a neck to the good. On the outside, Zoe Ellison. Far outside is Berazzled. Right there is Big Bad Jane, needing racing room. Bourbon and Barley. It's wide open here at the top of the stretch. They're 4 across the racetrack. Crunch time as they turn for home. Far outside, Berazzled. Berazzled strikes the front. It's Berazzled who draws away. The champion belongs to Berazzled and Peter Wren.
I just wanted to add, I believe I'll go out on a limb, one of the furthest to come this evening is Carrie O'Keefe from Newfoundland.
Just wanted to say, on behalf of my father and the rest of our family, I want to thank the OHHA for the program that they've created, Danny for all of the hard work throughout the season, Robbie Robinson up in Canada for starting the filly, everybody here you see on the stage, Carrie for seeing her potential at the sales, and everybody else that was involved in making this possible. Thank you.
I gotta go? McLean wants me to sing, I think. I'm not going to sing, though. No, but guys,
It's been a pleasure. I had a little bit of a bout to get down here. I left sometime Thursday, I think it was. I believe today is Saturday, isn't it? 6 flights and 2 boats and 3 buses later I got her. But it's all worth it. Guys, you got a great program here in Ohio. And I've been playing around with the game a little while, like between New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, all over Ontario. But what makes it so much closer to me is I'm from a small town in Newfoundland, Canada. And ye people here in Ohio are so much like people at home. It's unreal. It's just, you're a close-knit bunch, and just keep doing what you're doing, because the sky's the limit here. Thanks, guys.
Next would be representatives of Rose Run Spanky. Rose Run Spanky, please come forward. Our next category is the 2-year-old colt trots. This year's winner is Rose Run Spanky, sired by And Away We Go, out of the mare Bonnie Old Knees of Her. I've practiced that and I still screwed it up. By Donna Rail. Out of 11 starts this year, this horse had 5 wins, 1 second, 3/3, a record of 157, and earnings of close to $192,000. To exemplify the program that we have in Ohio as far as the opportunities for growth, this colt absolutely shows it. His first win was at a fair in Marysville, culminating with a Sire Stakes final win. In between, he won a leg of the Sire Stakes and the State Fair. This horse is owned by Kimberly Daly, Kevin Snyder, and Shane Hines. The breeder, Rose Run Farm, trainer, Jim Daly, and driven primarily by Dan Noble and Josh Sutton. Ladies and gentlemen, Rose Run Spanky.
The thing about Spanky is, I drove him after Danny started driving him. Danny had one of his own in, I think, is what it was. And I was fortunate enough to be there to get to drive for him. And the very first race I drove him was in, I think it was, the State Fair at Sauda. And it come up just an absolute monsoon. And that was the first start with him in the winter, or crossing the wire. I'm glasses down, can't see, just soaking wet in my summer colors. But that's what sticks out about me about that horse.
59-2, 30-2 on the second split. Pinned in 5th to Kaiser. Underway to the outside is Air Turbulence and Lord of the Rains. Trails at the rail. Compact field of 7. Trot down the back stretch. Better Believe shows the way. On the outside, Jailhouse Sam is now second. Loose Pocket Sitter is Just Plain DJ as they head towards 3/4. On the outside, 4th. Rose Run Spanky looks 3 high for Noble. At the rail to Kaiser. Air Turbulence is next, and the trailer is Lord of the Rains 3/4 at 129-1. 29-4 backside. Better Believe, the leader, has got the fractions in his favor. Jailhouse Sam in between horses. Rose Run Spanky 3 wide. Just Plain DJ to the inside, 2 to make up from 4th. They come to the top of the stretch. Better Believe, Jailhouse Salmon on the far outside. Here comes Rose Run Spanky. Better Believe is all out. Rose Run Spanky comes to challenge on the outside. Rose Run Spanky gets the best of Better Believe and draws away to win it. Rose Run Spanky from Better Believe in a 4-horse show photo, 159-1.
Halftime, moving on into the turn. Fraser Ridge on the lead by 2. In their second, Always a Good Time. Dijar over is third to the outside. Full Surge 4th. Rose Run Spanky trots 5th. Over their 6th is Stormy Cromer, then Hope I'm a Victory, and Buckeye Boss as they trot into the backstretch. And the leader is Fraser Ridge. Looking to the outside, Always a Good Time. Also moving up is Full Surge. Saving ground, Dijar over 126-1. Trotting around their final turn. And that leader on the outside is Always a Good Time. 3 wide coming on, Rose Run Spanky. Spanky's on the move. Also revving it up is Stormy Cromer over to the top of the stretch. With the lead, always a good time. Rose Run Spanky is setting chase. Stormy Cromer on the outside, always a good time. Rose Run Spanky on the outside. Rose Run Spanky comes on and takes the final. Your champion 2-year-old.
This is the reason Bill Daly doesn't show up. But I have to thank Bill. He was at a sale and done buying horses, and he walked by and seen this horse in the makeup ring. So he calls me, and it reminded him of a horse that we had that he drove back in the 80s. And so he walked back in, he bought the horse, calls me, "You want part of him?" I said, "Yeah." Then he asked to get another partner, so I called Shane, and he said yes. So that's how we got Spanky, so I got to thank Bill and all of his help. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Spanky, so thanks, Bill, and thank the OHHA. Thanks.
I'd also like to thank the Dalys and their connections for doing a wonderful job with this colt. And I have to think of in the fall of 15 when I was getting my colts ready, I had an elderly gentleman coming to my barn, and I had 3 colts. He looked at all of them, and I showed him Spanky last. And as he was leaving the barn, he says, "I think that colt's going to surprise you." And he didn't surprise me in the sales ring, but he sure did on the racetrack, so thank you.
Now, if the connections for the 2-year-old filly trotter, let's get started. Owners are Richard and Joyce McClelland from Zanesville, trained by Bobby Brower, driven by Josh Sutton. We have the Let's Get Started filly by DeJarmbro out of Torrey, who's by SJ's photo, with a mark of 156 and 3 on a 5/8. Earnings of $243,910. In 7 starts, we've got 6 wins and 1 second. Such outstanding races were at Scioto Downs for the Sire Stakes, racing for $40,000. We've also got in July the Ohio State Fair, racing for $40,600. In August, on the 15th at Northfield, again the Sire Stakes, winning $40,000 purse. August the 23rd at Scioto, another purse for $40,000. We've got the final going for $250,000 at Northfield. And finally, on September the 21st at Delaware, the Ohio Breeders' Championship, racing for $57,200. Congratulations to the connections, and we'll watch the film.
Let's get started. Just a Cadillac to drive. I mean, absolute Cadillac. For her to come back after she ran in that final was just utterly amazing to me. I mean, I couldn't believe she gathered herself and come back to win. I mean, that showed the heart of a champion right there. I mean, to me, she's got heart.
The half 57 and 4, 30 seconds flat in the second split. Trotting in 6 is South Babe. She is off the rail for Page as they swing onto the backstretch. Then it is the trailers, the breakers, My Big Brown-Eyed Girl and Sawmill Road. Down the backstretch they trot. Let's Get Started takes over, quickly opens up 3. Tim Swift couldn't fight her off. Up on the outside now, second is Vat Anna, soon to be third. 3 wide South Babe. In between horses, Beautiful, I Like Purple is off the rail. 3 quarters and 127 flat, 29 and 1 backside. So let's get started with the lead. Vadena is stalking there from the pocket spot. Racing in third is Beautiful. 3 wide. I Like Purple comes on fourth. In between horses, South Babe is fifth. To the top of the stretch, it's Let's Get Started with the lead. She is clear. 2.5, 3 from Vadena. I Like Purple, full of trot in the center of the track. Let's Get Started is clear by now 4 lengths. So Let's Get Started will win it over Vadena. And I Like Purple. Let's Get Started at 157 flat.
Seconds, Jim Swift on the outside, fourth. Fifth at the rail is Bama's Last Chance. Rose Run Sydney is there. Then it's Let's Get Started in Madeira as they round the turn and straighten up into the back stretch. Ms. Bank Robber still the leader. On the outside, second. Purple Sona Amuses third. Jim Swift on the outside, fourth. Trying to swing up from the clouds is Rose Run Sydney at the rail. Bama's Last Chance, 3 quarters, 125 and 4. In and around that final turn, Ms. Bank Robber still the leader. Right there in second, Amuses. Out there 3 wide, Jim Swift. Purple Sona between them. Trying to shake free as Let's Get Started. Nowhere to go. Bama's Last Chance as they trot to the top of the stretch. Ms. Bank Robber turns first in the final. Far outside, Let's Get Started. Right there, Amuses. Also there is Jim Swift. A wall of them come to the wire, and Let's Get Started came back and won the final here. Your champion 2-year-old.
Dick and Joyce is also the breeder of this nice filly I failed to mention.
Well, you really can't say much about the filly. The only thing I can say, when you're going for $250,000, you draw the 8-hole and make a break. I was just hoping for some money, but she's a great filly, and I thank you very much.
Our next category is for the 3-year-old colt pacer. With the connections for Mr. Wigglepants, please come forward. Mr. Wigglepants was sired by Mr. Wiggles, the dam Shanty Pants by On the Attack. In 2016, this fine horse had 13 starts with 8 wins, 1 second, 1 third, and a record of 151 and 2. Lifetime is amassed earnings of over $302,000. Major accomplishments this year, 3 legs of the Sire Stakes and the Breeders' Championship at Delaware, Ohio. Owned by Jim Mullinex, Denny Miller, William Raffenau, and DM Stable. The breeder was Springhaven Farm, who was probably responsible for that name, which is kind of cute. Trained by Jim Mullinex and driven by Kane Kaufman. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's 3-year-old colt pace winner, Mr. Wigglepants.
He was just such a handy horse. The gate speed was tremendous, and that won a lot of races for him this past summer. He was just very nice to drive. You could leave the gate as fast as you'd want, and what a good mouth he had on him. He'd come right back to you, and you could race him without handholds after the gate folded. But just a very nice, handy horse. I can't say enough about him. He was very special to me this summer. He overcome a lot of things this summer, racing wise, that I can't say a lot about a lot of other horses, I guess.
Up top, win up, bump drafting his helmet from the pocket spot. The half and 57 and 1, 30 and 1 on the second split. Hustling Charlie will have a tough first over grind now. He's up on the outside and now second. With his cover on the outside fourth, one fine Jimmer John at the rail fifth, pinned in Rock and Roll Wildcats. Outside six, Frisky Cruiser to the inside. Whiskey Frisky is pinned in. Then it's Little Woody in the trailer, Prince Giovanni. Pace is quick and they drive by 3 quarters in 124 and 3, 27 and 2 backside. It's Mr. Wigglepants with the lead. Hustling Charlie on the outside, and neck back is second. Winna at the rail third. Fourth, waiting for Racing Room, Rock and Roll Wildcats. They come to the top of the stretch. It's Mr. Wigglepants. Kane said go, and he is gone. Mr. Wigglepants opens up 3 just like that. Mr. Wigglepants to win it over Hustling Charlie and Rock and Roll Wildcats, 151 and 2.
Accepting for all the connections is Sanina Esty of Springhaven Farm.
Billy Rivenall called me, and he really wanted to be here, but unfortunately they were unable. So he said they were just really honored to be part of a nice colt like this. Ellen called me on behalf of her and Jim, and they, of course, are in Florida. And Ellen just said, from a personal standpoint, she said, Jim really didn't do it, the colt did it all. He's just such a nice colt. So, but it meant a lot. I told him I would be honored to accept. Of course, on a personal note, as a breeder, you always wish you would get one like this. It's just, I was the #1 fan, and pounding on the couch or at the bleachers or wherever we might be, but it's just so exciting to see one of your babies. And of course, I named Mr. Wigglepants. I had the mama, Shanna Pants. I also had grandma, Sassy Pants, but Shanna was named after my little sister, Shanna. So I'm sure my husband, I'm making you proud right now, so why don't you come up and get your picture taken? So, but we wanted to thank you all.
While we have just a little bit of a lull here, I have to tell you a story about my good friend Jim Mullinex. A couple years ago, he was fortunate enough to have the great horse, A Rock and Roll Dance. A Rock and Roll Dance won the Meadowlands Pace on a Saturday night. A couple days later, at the Ottawa County Fair in Oak Harbor, Ohio, in comes Jim Mullinex with a trailer load of horses to race. I think many of us would have, with a horse like that, would have maybe looked at our stable, put A Rock and Roll Dance at the first stall, and then maybe had a little stable reduction sale. But not Jim. He gives them all a chance, and that's just the type of guy he is. Hardworking, great guy.
Now, the 3-year-old filly pacer of the year is My Tweed Heart. This is a Manhart filly out of Tweedledee, out of the Towner's Big Guy mare. If the connections would please come forward. She's got a mark of 152 and 2 and a 5/8, earnings of $378,611 lifetime. This year, $246,359. Not bad for a $2,500 filly. 15 starts, 10 wins, 1 second and 1 third, owned by William J. Donovan, trained by Jim Daly, and driven by Josh Sutton. She won the Hackett at Miami Valley, also the Sire Stakes going for $40,000. On July 2nd at Scioto, the Sire Stakes. July 29th, the Ohio State Fair. August the 20th, Northfield, the Sire Stakes. September the 3rd, Northfield, the Ohio Sire Stakes Final for $250,000. We congratulate all the connections.
She was going to win the Hackett, and somebody stepped on my wheel, and it wrapped the wheel, or the tire up in the wheel, and she drug it all the way down the lane, still finished third in the Hackett. And they said, if you win the Hackett, nobody ever wins the final, so I'm glad she didn't win the Hackett. She's a great mare to drive. I mean, just powerful. It took us a little bit to settle her down because she's not a go and stop horse. It's all in or nothing, and she started learning there towards the end.
Feeling red hot as the best seat in the house as they pass the half, 57 and 1. 29 and 2 on the outside, NPR 9 racing in fourth. Big Bad Ashley gaps, whips up on John's Jessie Bird. She is gapping her cover on the outside. Road Trouble 4, She Gone in the trailer on the outside. Crazy Bad K down the backstretch they go. They're drag racing for the lead. Oh, so Wiggle Special on the inside. My Tweed Heart on the outside. They're stride for a stride by 3/4 at 1:24 and 2. 27 and 1. Backside, Feeling Red Hot has had the perfect trip. Poised to strike 3 wide is NPR9 as they come to the top of the stretch. My Tweed Heart getting the best of Oso Wiggle Special. NPR9, center of the track is coming on and coming at her. My Tweed Heart, though, digs in, draws away. NPR9 still trying to close. My Tweed Heart to win it over NPR9. And up for third was Feeling Red Hot, 152 and 2.
Our Fantasy 56 the halftime. As they pace into the turn, the leader is Miss Miette. On the outside, My Tweed Heart, Gorgeous Road at the rail. Outside, Claire Bear. At the rail is Queen Anne M as they'll straighten up into the backstretch. Miss Miette on top. On the outside, My Tweed Heart, Gorgeous Road is a right tight third. Queen Anne M is a pacing fourth. Over there, fifth, Claire Bear. 3 wide, Oso Wiggle Special. 3/4 up in 1:24 as they move into the final turn. Miss Miette still the one. Outside, My Tweed Heart, right there, Gorgeous Road. Queen Anne M has been sent to the outside. She Gone at the rail as they come to the top of the stretch. Miss Miette on the inside. On the outside, My Tweed Heart. Queen Anne M on the grandstand side. Passing lane, Gorgeous Road. My Tweed Heart just in front. My Tweed Heart gets it done.
I would like to actually make a correction. The owner at the time of racing is Mr. Carl Atlee. So I wanted to give them the opportunity to come up here and congratulate them.
Thank you, appreciate it. I was like a little cheerleader that night. You know, I kind of played football and all kinds of sports, but I felt like a little girl up in the stands when that horse come with the last there. I was jumping up and down. Luckily enough, I had some friends with us, and they won too, and we had a lucky table that night, and Josh had a hot night. Also, I just want to thank Ty Law. I ended up buying this filly from him, and she was just a little thing, and Bill and I went to go look at that filly, and I always called my wife my sweetheart. And this horse is called Tweed Heart, so I said, I'm going to buy this horse, Bill. I said, just coming on, I always call my wife Tweed Heart. And he said, well, if you want to spend that kind of money, go ahead, but I don't know, she's kind of small. What we did know was kind of heart she had. So thank you very much again to the Daily Sailor. Appreciate it.
Okay, our next category is the 3-year-old colt trotter. This year's winner is Wegoferdaprize. Would the connections of this horse please come forward? Wegoferdaprize was sired by And Away We Go, the Dam Party Prize by Party Party. In 2016, this horse had 14 starts, 9 wins, 1/3, a record of 155 and 2. And lifetime earnings of over $215,000. This horse started out the year in a non-winners of 1 over, actually I think a late closer at Northfield Park, winning that. Finished up with a Breeders' Championship win at Delaware, Ohio. And in between had 2 legs of the Sire Stakes winners and also the Ohio Sire Stakes final. This horse is owned by Curran Racing, LLC. The breeder, Bill Troyer. Trained by Jessica Milner. Driven by Chris Page and Kurt Sugg. Ladies and gentlemen, Wegoferdaprize.
7 and 4, 30 flat second quarter, and it's 4-5 favorite. Kanthaka with the lead. Took a while to get to the front, but has the lead by a length and a quarter. Another breath the pocket sitter. On the outside, Wegoferdaprize is now second. Outside, gapping cover, racing in fourth. Let's go, Bucks. At the rail, fifth is a Speedy Translation. Gap of 2.5, 3 to Lion Image and Secret Trainer. 3 wide is Triumph's Chip. Nowhere to go for Lionbacker Kid in the trailer is Need a Winner. 3/4 at 125 and 3. 27 and 4. Backside, and it's Kenthaka with the lead. Another breath, poised to strike to the inside, grinding it out on the outside. We go for the prize. Let's go Bucks, 3 from the front to the inside. Speedy translation. They're off to turn it on their way home. It's Kenthaka with the lead. We go for the prize. Is still grinding on the outside into the passing lane. Here comes another breath. It's Kenthaka. We go for the prize on the outside as they get to the line. It's going to be a photo. Very tight. Another breath was third, 155 and 2.
And for the halftime, fourth at the rail is Linebacker Kid. We go for the prize in that cover flow as they trot up around the turn. Another breath on top. On the outside is Kenthaka. MJB Got Faith is looking 3 wide as they straighten up, trotting onto 3/4. Another breath, still the leader. Kenthaka comes back on. MJB Got Faith is 3 wide. Looking out there 4 wide. We go for the prize. Right there along the inside, Linebacker Kid, 3/4, 126 as they trot the final turn. It's Hugh Beatty and another breath. Another breath is the leader. Outside Kenthaka. Out there 4 wide as we go for the prize. 5 wide for the drive is overdressed. They're coming from everywhere as they turn for home. We go for the prize, tries to get the lead. We go for the prize, comes on here. We go for the prize, the champion 3-year-old colt trotter, 156.
Okay, well, I need to thank the people who actually made this happen. The 2 amazing women over here, the trainer, Jessica Milner, and an awesome groom, Amanda Martin. Gopher, as we all affectionately call him, I think he taught us all an important lesson in patience and persistence. It was a long road with him, but a dream come true. I need to thank Kurt Sugg, who kind of got him going, broke his maiden, and he took off after that. Kane Kaufman, and then Chris Page, obviously, winning the final. So, and anyone else who was involved with him, breeder Bill Troyer, and to anyone else who was involved in his journey, thank you all, and it's an honor. Thanks.
Bill asked me to accept this trophy for him. He couldn't be here this evening. He wanted to thank you all for the honor, and he thought it would be a little bit far for his horse and buggy on a Saturday night, so he wanted me to get the trophy. Thank you.
The connections for Consolidator, the 3-year-old filly trot. This is a Triumphant Caviar out of Muscle Toy. Mark of 154 and 4, earnings of $349,153. 10 starts, 7 wins, 1 second, and 1 third. Earnings this season of $271,000. Owned by the Green Acquisition Corporation of Canfield, bred by Rose Run Farm, trained by Jim Arledge Jr., and driven by Chris Page. Highlighted winnings are at Miami Valley, the Ohio Sire Stakes for $40,000. Northfield, Ohio Sire Stakes, again $40,000. July 1st, Scioto Downs, Sire Stakes, $40,000. August the 19th, again at Scioto for $40,000. September 3rd, the Ohio Sire Stakes Final for $250,000. The Delaware Ohio Breeders' Championship, and finally the Hoosier Park Circuit City. Congratulations to all the connections.
Trailer Kerfuffle Cookie. They're past the half, 57 and 1, 29 and 1 second panel. It's Kestrel with the lead by 2 and in command of the fractions as they swing onto the back stretch. Consolidator getting the pocket ride. Count on Cammy has closed the gap in third. Outside 4, taking the long way around is overcome by Victory. She's been roughed up at the rail fit. is Candy Crisp. 3 wide as they head towards 3/4 is Hurrah, Hurrah. Shut Up and Dance is now 7th. 8th is Lady Edith. Then it is Brushy Rose. 3/4 at 126 and 1. 29 flat backside. It's Kestrel with the lead. Consolidator racing in second with a length and a half to make up. She'll look to pounce off of the pocket trip. Count on Cavius in there third. They're off to turn it on their way home. Kestrel to the inside, up and out of the pocket. Here comes Consolidator. It's Kestrel to the inside. Consolidator getting the lead on the outside. Consolidator back to her winning ways. Consolidator over Kestrel, and count on Cami, 155 and 1.
Cookie made a break at the back, 57 the halftime as they trot into the turn. Consolidator still the one to knock off a TC Queenie right on her back in second. Kestrel is third. Candy Crisp is fourth. Hurrah, Hurrah trots in fifth. Over there, 6 is Buckeye Lady 1. Brushy Rose is there. And the trailer Kerfuffle Cookie as they trot to 3/4. The leader is Consolidator. A TC Queenie has popped the pocket. 3/4, 126 and 1. Consolidator has the lead. A TC Queenie is on the outside. Saving ground along the rail then is Hurrah, Hurrah. On her outside is Kestrel as they come to the top of the stretch. In the Sire Stake final, and the leader is Consolidator. A TC Queenie is still chasing. Consolidator turns first. A TC Queenie is second. Consolidator, TC Queenie. Consolidator holds on to win it. TC Queenie second. Kestrel and Candy Crisp 155 and 1.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Team Arledge. Without Jimmy Arledge and his barn, it wouldn't have been possible this year. Thank you to my family who supported the filly through the year, and to Kerry O'Keefe, who texted me days before each race and predicted the outcome. Thank you.
Okay, our next category is for the aged trotter. This year's winner is I Know My Chip. Sired by Deep Chip out of the dam Madeline's Crown by Pegasus Spur. This year this horse had 34 starts, 8 wins, 4 seconds, 9 thirds. He has a mark of 153 and 4 and earnings of over $488,000. A consistent aged racehorse. The owners of this fine horse, the Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Brasime, Philip Kalura, the breeder, Kim Daly, we get to see Kim again, trained by Ron Burke and driven in Ohio by Chris Page. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's aged trotter, I Know My Chip.
And 4 as they trot into the turn. Celebrity Bugatti's on top. On the outside, Pay the Winner. Like Old Times at the rail, I Know My Chip is out there 4th. Trotting in 5th is Annie's Rocket Man outside for Ray Hall as they straighten up into the backstretch to press on to 3/4. Celebrity Bugatti's out there by a head. Outside Pay the Winner 2nd, Like Old Times right there at the rail. I Know My Chip is 4th. Out there 5th, Ray Hall with Annie's Rocket Man 125 3/4 time as they round the final turn. Celebrity Bugatti trying to see it through. Now moving out there 3 wide, I Know My Chip. In between them is Pay the Winner. Right there, Like Old Times as they turn for home. Celebrity Bugatti. Outside, I Know My Chip. Inside, Like Old Times, I Know My Chip. Comes on to win it. So.
Congratulations. Mr. Burke, would you like to say a few words?
On behalf of the entire Burke Brigade, I thank you for this award. Horse has been fun to have, and one of the things, I just trained him this morning. He's getting ready for this year. Thank you very much.
All right, Kim, 3 times you got to say something.
I'm not a speaker like my daughter is, so. But this coltsman, he was special to us. Bill trained his daddy. I owned his mommy. We raised him in Dad's backfield, right out behind our house. Bill named him. So, and he used to follow my daughter. She had her barrel pattern set up for her barrel horses, and he'd follow her around the barrels, chasing her horse's tail. So he's been a nice colt, and thank you.
For the aged pacer, the connections for Dancin' Yankee. Yankee Cruiser, Dance with the Best by Cam Best. 31 starts, 8 wins, 9 seconds, and 3/3. Earnings of $147,129. As a 6-year-old, a mark of 147-2 on a 5/8. Lifetime earnings, $1,525,000. Owned by Richard Lombardo from Salon, Ohio, L&J Racing LLC from Pennsylvania. Trained by Josh Green and Scott Cox, driven primarily by Aaron Merriman, also driven by Brett Miller. Bred by Elizabeth Yance. Highlighted races are the Northfield Open, the Northfield Open on May the 9th, going for $13,500. July 30th at Pocono, $15,500. August the 13th in Northfield, $50,000. And September the 26th, going for $19,000. Also, the Dayton, Ohio Sire Stakes for $50,000. Congratulations to all the connections.
Aaron Merriman and Dancin' Yankee with the lead. Frisky out of the pocket trip. They trip the beam for the half, 54 seconds, 28-2 second panel. Let's Neplin right there with him from third. Fourth is Hanky L. Mr. I Am has closed the gap up and out of Moringa Rosas on the move for Sutton. Then it is Stand Tall in the trailer off the rail. Man, he can scoot down the backstretch. They go. Dancin' Yankee is clear by 4 or 5 and driving on the outside as Let's Neplin. Frisky Adam has had enough. Hanky L trying to rally. He's on the move for the Grizz. Here comes Moringa Rosa to get into it. 122-3. 28-3. Backside, it's Dancin' Yankee. The lead is 3. Hanky L has his sights set on the leader and is closing. Let's Neplin to the inside. Moringa Rosa is now fourth. They come to the top of the stretch, and it's Dancin' Yankee. He was pressured early for the lead. Hanky L is 2 lengths back and trying to come to him. It's Dancin' Yankee. Hanky L. Dancin' Yankee will win it by about 3 on the line from Hanky L. Moringa Rosa and Mr. I Am, 152-2.
I'd like to thank the OHHA for giving us this award this year. My father, Gary Green, great horseman. He gets all the credit for this horse. He picked him out as a baby. Just absolutely loved him. Called me and just said, man, I just saw a horse I absolutely love. And he's paid for a lot of horses that I've picked out that haven't been so good. So he's been very good to our family. I'd like to thank Scotty Cox. We struggled with him early in the year, and Scotty turned him around for us, got him going, and just did a wonderful job. He's just been such a good horse to our family. Anybody that's ever seen him in the paddock, he wears like a Hannibal Lecter mask. He's bitten some fingers, like he's a tough, tough horse. But we'd just really like to thank for the award tonight. Thank you.
I would like to say as a yearling, he was not like that, so that is Josh's fault. He had manners at one point. This horse has put me on the map, and it's been such a blessing every year. We say, oh, not next year. Here we are. Thank you all.
This year, we did have 2 Triple Crown winners. That means they won the State Fair, Sire Stakes Final, and Breeders' Championship. The first of our Triple Crown winners was up here earlier with the connections for Scotch McEwan. please come forward. We're not going to run any videos. We've seen those, know what a great year this horse had.
Carl, why don't you want to say a few more words? Tell me to come up and say something. I just want to thank again the OHHA for quite an award. Also, Josh Sutton, I want to thank him for driving, and most of all, Bill Daly. Like I said before, we was friends in high school and had a blast together, and from all his hard work, there's nobody who works any harder in the horse racing business but Bill. Thank you.
I'd like to do this second award because special horses make us think of special reflections. They give us goosebumps when they race. Special horses set track records at Scioto Downs. Special horse sets a track record at Northfield Park. A special horse comes from a special mother, Tori Ann. We believe that a special horse comes from a good sire, too, at DeJarnbro. I never saw a race as more thrilling as the final at Northfield Park than what this horse went, and I've watched a lot of racing over the years. I've never seen a 2-year-old have the 8-hole, break at the start of a race, be 15 lengths back, be dead last at the 3/4 pole, come inside on a race, go outside 4 wide around the final turn, and catch them. Only special horses do that. Only special horses like that give you goosebumps. And I want to be able to, I'm so proud to present not only a Triple Crown winner, but Horse of the Year to Let's Get Started to Dick and Joyce McClelland.
Bobby, congratulations. You guys go ahead. It's your, go ahead and say a thing.
Well, I didn't think this would happen, you know. I kind of wondered if she could have a chance, but I just didn't know that a 2-year-old trotting filly, whether they would vote her the horse of the year. But Tori Ann is a great mare. She's just been good to us. We had bred her out of the state a few times. She had a 3-year-old trotting colt this year called Milligan School that raced in the Hamiltonian. She had a sister that raced at the Meadows called She Wore Red, and she's just really been a great mare. When I gave her to Bobby, I sent her down to Eric Nesselrode to break. He called me and said, you know, your colts and fillies are doing good, but you got one I can't break. I said, what do you mean you can't break? He said, when I put the harness on her, she just won't come out of the barn. I said, well, you keep her a couple, 3 more weeks, and we'll see what happens. So I sent her out to Bobby Brower. He called me up and said, the guy's right. She won't come out of the barn. So we had this year with her, and I'd sent her back out to Bobby for this year, and he said, still won't come out of the barn. Get her on the track, and she's good. But I really, this is quite an award for us and for my wife. She can't make it tonight, but thank you.
The centerpieces at the tables were made by the Medina County Girl Scout Troop, and the person at the table who has the closest birthday to the 21st of January, you get the centerpiece. So whoever's birthday is closest to January 21st, you get the centerpiece. Now don't leave yet, because we got the 3 big door prizes. Also, I'd like to mention This is the earliest we've ever finished up the Ohio Horsemen Association banquet. It's 2 minutes of 9. 2 minutes of 9. Now, I don't know when Liz Worley's Jazz Quintet is scheduled to start playing, but she's going to be out there until 2 a.m. in the morning. So that gives you 5 hours to party if she's ready to... Whoa, that scares me when she gets close to a microphone.
Thank Ann Lufkin for the things and Brad Conrad for the pictures.
Ooh, she wouldn't blow in the air like that. Gee. Oh.
There's not enough Viagra in the world, Roger, for you to handle me. Ann Lufkin and Brad Conrad.
I mean, that's scary. Okay. So anyway, party until 2 a.m. Everybody except Amy. She's partied too much. Okay, $500 certificate towards a Pennsbury jog cart donated by Pennsbury Enterprises. And the winner is number 61. Really? Okay. Next up, Little Brown Jug hospitality tent tickets, and I have donated a Little Brown Jug from Delaware County Fair. Ticket number 4242. Back in the room, okay. And finally, the 32-inch Samsung Smart Television. Oh, I thought we had the same number again. 31. Where at? And into the room again. Brad Conrad, we thank you for taking the pictures and everything, and Ann Lufkin, we thank you as well for all that you've done tonight. Have fun, have good racing. We'll see you somewhere because we're about everywhere in the world, so can't wait till we see you then. Have fun. 9:01. Good night.
I really appreciate it.
No problem, kid. Glad to do it. Glad to do it.